And the most shocking part? Scientists still cannot precisely determine how many bubbles there might be in the multiverse, but estimates range from trillions to infinity, making us ponder the true scale of reality. The observable universe has a diameter of approximately 93 billion light-years, although the universe itself is only 13.8 billion years old. How is this possible? The answer lies in the expansion of space, a concept that challenges our understanding of time and distance. Imagine standing at the edge of the universe and looking at stars. Light from the most distant objects can reach us, even though they are beyond the time we know. This happens because space itself is expanding, and objects that were once closer are now moving away from us at incredible speeds. Scientific observations show that galaxies are moving away from us at increasing speeds. For instance, just a few billion years after the Big Bang, the speed of recession was only a few % of the speed of light. But today, it has reached values exceeding 80%. This means that some galaxies, which we observe today, will never be reached by our spacecraft because the distance between them and us is growing faster than light can travel. But that's not all. Due to the redshift effect, light from receding galaxies is stretched, making them visible in longer, redder waves. This discovery made it possible to measure the distances to galaxies using so-called standard candles, such as Cepheid variables and supernovae. Imagine this. Because of this stretching of time and distance, the observable universe is growing in size faster than we can explore it. But wait, there's more. Do you know that the evolution of the universe after the Big Bang was not uniform? In the first millions of years, matter clumped together to form clusters and galaxies. And then, during the process of expansion, some regions of space began to develop faster than others, creating areas with different densities of matter. These differences in the distribution of matter, in turn, lead to the formation of vast voids and clusters of galaxies. For example, the Great Void, which stretches 30 million light-years, is one of the largest structures in the universe, where galaxies are practically absent. This challenges our understanding of gravity in space. And the strangest thing? Some theories suggest that the universe could be just a part of a multi-dimensional structure, where other universes exist parallel to ours, but governed by different laws of physics. This dwarf was one of the first to be discovered by astronomers, and its study has provided a wealth of new information about this class of objects. At the center of the galaxy M87 lies a supermassive black hole, whose mass of 6.5 billion solar masses is astonishing. This black hole became the first to have its image captured in 2019, thanks to the Event Horizon Telescope project, which combined data from 8 radio telescopes around the world. Imagine this. To create this image, scientists had to synchronize observations from radio telescopes located on different continents to obtain a clear snapshot of the accretion disk surrounding the black hole, which appears as a dark spot against the bright, glowing matter. An odd fact: the radius of this black hole is approximately 21 billion kilometers, equivalent to the distance from Earth to Saturn. But that's not all. The accretion disk orbiting the black hole reaches speeds exceeding 30% of the speed of light, generating powerful X-ray emissions that scientists were able to detect. Did you know that the inner parts of the accretion disk can reach temperatures of several million degrees Celsius? This causes the matter to emit light visible from afar, making the black hole one of the brightest objects in the galaxy. Now, imagine that this black hole is located approximately 60 million light-years away from us. It holds billions of stars in its grasp, orbiting it at incredible speeds. Scientists believe that such a position of the black hole can influence an entire galaxy, shaping its structure and dynamics. But what is truly shocking? Beyond the black hole lies a stream of matter moving towards Earth at a speed of around 1 million kilometers per hour. This creates powerful relativistic jets that erupt from the poles of the black hole and extend for billions of light-years into space, forming extraordinary structures similar to those seen in other active galaxies. And now, imagine that black holes can not only swallow matter, but also eject enormous amounts of energy and matter into space. Can you imagine that in the future, our descendants will be able to receive messages from Voyager, which will be traveling through interstellar space? According to the theory of inflation, our universe may be just one of many bubbles existing in an infinite multiverse ocean. Imagine this. Each bubble is a separate universe with its own reality, governed by its own physical laws and even different values of fundamental constants. This means that in one universe, life as we know it may exist, while in another, there may be entirely unexpected forms of matter and energy that defy our imagination. For instance, in some bubbles, there may be so much matter that gravity is so strong that light cannot escape. These are pure black holes. In others, there may be absolute emptiness, devoid of stars and planets. But how did we arrive at this conclusion? Scientific research since the mid-20th century has shown that during the Big Bang, there was an incredibly rapid expansion of space, lasting only a few milliseconds, but sufficient to create an infinitely expanding universe. Now, imagine that this inflation was not a one-time event. According to some theories, inflation may occur continuously, creating new bubbles, each representing a new, independent universe. In this context, our world is just one of thousands, millions, or even billions of bubbles forming a vast and diverse multiverse. And what's even more astonishing? Some scientists even suggest that there are bubbles where the laws of physics might allow for time travel or movement between parallel universes. This opens up boundless possibilities for science fiction, which could become reality. Scientific research in this area continues, and each new step brings us closer to understanding just how complex and wondrous our reality is. However, the most astonishing aspect is that in some of these bubbles, time may flow differently. In one, a moment may pass, while in another, an eternity may elapse. But what else is hidden in our vast cosmos, if even diamonds can be commonplace on other worlds? On Jupiter, the Great Red Spot is raging. It's not just an atmospheric phenomenon, but a giant storm that has been existing for more than 350 years, and it could hold 3 Earths within its depths. Imagine this. The diameter of this storm reaches 75,000 kilometers, which is more than twice the distance from Moscow to New York. But that's not all. The wind in this storm can reach speeds of up to 250 kilometers per hour, comparable to Category 5 hurricanes on Earth. How is this possible on a planet where conditions are so different from ours? The answer lies in Jupiter's unique atmosphere, primarily composed of hydrogen and helium, which creates ideal conditions for the formation and maintenance of such gigantic vortices. But what's even more astonishing, the Great Red Spot is not the only storm on Jupiter. In fact, the planet is home to numerous atmospheric formations, including other powerful vortices that can be even larger than this famous spot. But why is it that this one became so well known? Its stability and longevity are the reasons. Scientists have noticed that, despite changes in the planet's atmosphere, the size and shape of this storm remain relatively constant, and its color, which ranges from bright red to beige, depends on chemical processes occurring in the upper layers of the atmosphere. But that's not the most peculiar thing. There are hypotheses that the Great Red Spot may harbor unique atmospheric conditions that could support life, albeit in completely unusual forms. For instance, this storm could contain microscopic organisms adapted to extreme conditions, similar to those found in Earth's deep oceans. Scientists continue to study this mysterious storm using both ground-based telescopes and spacecraft like Juno, which has been studying Jupiter since 2016. It transmits incredible data about the planet's atmospheric composition and internal processes occurring beneath its clouds. What's even more astonishing? With each new study, it's revealed that the Great Red Spot could disappear within the next few decades, and scientists are already observing its gradual decrease. Just imagine, if someone could decipher this secret, it could completely change our understanding of the universe. The temperature below absolute zero seems impossible, but such regions exist in space. For instance, the Boomerang Nebula, located approximately 14,000 light-years from Earth, is considered the coldest known region in the universe, with temperatures reaching -273 degrees and 15/10 of a degree Celsius. For comparison, absolute zero is the temperature at which particle motion practically stops, and no matter can be colder. But how is this possible? In the Boomerang Nebula, an unusual phenomenon occurs. It actively expels gas clouds, cooling them to extreme temperatures. This process happens because gases ejected by stars in their final stages of life expand and lose heat. But that's not all. Molecules of carbon monoxide and even complex organic molecules have been found in the nebula, challenging our understanding of the chemical composition of the cosmos. Imagine the conditions these molecules are in. They can only exist in such extreme environments. Now, consider that in the Boomerang Nebula, temperatures below absolute zero are created by a unique combination of processes, including gas cooling and subsequent expansion. This opens new horizons for astrophysicists trying to unravel the mysteries of such anomalies. If you think the Boomerang Nebula is the only place with such temperatures, wait, there are even more fascinating facts. For example, in some regions of galaxies, ice crystals can form that would be liquid under normal conditions, but freeze as soon as the temperature drops below zero. These crystals can provide scientists with information about the process of star and planet formation. It is important to note that the discovery of such low temperatures also raises questions about the possible forms of life in the cosmos. Could they exist in such harsh conditions? Scientists suggest that such areas could be potential places to search for life, even if it is very different from what we know. And the most intriguing part, in the Boomerang Nebula, the temperature of the gas below absolute zero is not the only anomaly observed in the cosmos. How can such conditions exist for so long? This question remains unanswered, but one thing is clear. The hexagonal storm on Saturn is one of the most mysterious and fascinating phenomena in our solar system, and its study is only just beginning. Astronauts, returning from spacewalks, encounter an extraordinary phenomenon, a cosmic smell that they describe as a mix of hot metal, welding, and cooked meat. Imagine this. After exiting the orbital station in their spacesuits, microscopic particles remain on the suits. When they return to the enclosed space, these particles interact with oxygen, creating a distinct smell. This aroma arises from the heating of the suit surfaces as they enter the station's atmosphere. Scientists claim that some of these scents come from reactions with elements floating in open space, such as oxygen, ozone, and even carbon from meteoroids. But there's more. Astronauts like Doug Hurley note that this smell becomes particularly intense when they remove their helmets after returning to the station. How exactly do these particles get onto the suit? Research shows that in open space, numerous chemical reactions occur, involving solar radiation and cosmic rays. These factors not only process the suit materials, but also create new compounds that remain on their surfaces. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. Some scientists suggest that the cosmic smell may not only cause surprise, but also serve as an indicator of the surrounding environment's state. For instance, if the smell changes, it could signal the presence of new particles or changes in the cosmic environment. This opens up fascinating prospects for future research, as such a smell could act as a sensor, helping astronauts and scientists analyze invisible aspects of space. Did you know that space itself has no smell? Smells are a result of the presence of air and molecules that can interact with our receptors. In a vacuum, there is no smell. This makes the astronauts' experience even more unique, as they can only perceive aromas in enclosed spaces. Furthermore, research shows that smells can affect a person's psychological state, and the cosmic smell can evoke feelings of nostalgia or even anxiety in astronauts. How does this smell feel in zero gravity? Astronauts describe it as spreading throughout the ship like a cloud, quickly filling the space and creating unique sensations. But what if we could create a similar smell on Earth? Scientists are already working on synthesizing artificial scents that can mimic this cosmic experience. This opens up new possibilities in the fields of aromatherapy and psychology. So, what lies ahead? Start following the latest discoveries. Pulsars may reveal even more secrets of our universe. In the center of some galaxies, quasars hide, objects that can blind even the most powerful telescopes with their light. Imagine that their luminosity can exceed that of 1 trillion stars. How is this possible? The secret lies in supermassive black holes located at the center of galaxies. When matter falls into the gravitational field of a black hole, it begins to rotate and heat up to incredible temperatures, emitting a colossal amount of energy. This results in the formation of an accretion disk that can stretch for millions of kilometers. In such disks, temperatures reach millions of degrees, emitting light in the X-ray range, making quasars visible from enormous distances. The brightest of them can be seen from distances of billions of light-years. But this is not all. Quasars are not only bright, but also rapidly rotating. Their light can pulsate, changing brightness in just a few days. Some quasars exhibit such fluctuations that scientists can use them as beacons to measure distances in the universe. What is most astonishing? These objects were discovered only in the middle of the 20th century, and since then, their study has become an important part of astronomy. Many scientists believe that quasars can help unravel the mysteries of galaxy formation and the evolution of the universe. Inside this cosmic lighthouse, processes can take place over millions of years, and we observe their light now. For example, one of the most famous quasars, designated as 3C273, is located more than 2 billion light-years away from us and is one of the brightest quasars known to humanity. How do such powerful sources of light form? The answer may be related to how black holes consume matter and how this matter interacts with the surrounding space. Scientific research shows that even small changes in their rotation can indicate the presence of other objects, such as exoplanets, that may be orbiting around them. In the constellation, Aquarius lies a cosmic cloud containing water in an amount that defies imagination. This water cloud holds 143 trillion times, more water than all the oceans on Earth combined. Imagine this staggering number, 143 trillion. It's not just a large number, it's water that could fill the oceans for billions of years. But what makes this even more fascinating is that this cloud is located more than 12 billion light-years away from us. How is this possible? The water exists in the form of vapor, and its density is such that it forms gigantic water clouds in space, which are essentially the largest reservoirs of water ever discovered in our universe. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. This water cloud was discovered by astronomers using radio telescopes that can detect signals from water vapor molecules. What's even more astonishing, these molecules are in a state known as a cosmic water cloud, and scientists believe that this could be one of the sources from which life could have emerged on other planets. To give you an idea of the scale, all the water on Earth amounts to approximately 13 quadrillion litres, while this cloud contains water molecules in quantities that exceed all conceivable limits. It could even be used to study how planets and stars formed in the early universe. If you thought this was already the limit, wait until you hear this. The Aquarius cloud surrounds a region where stars are forming in vast numbers, and it could hold the key to understanding the processes that occur in galaxies. Astronomers are confident that studying this cloud will allow us to look back in time to when our universe was just beginning to develop. And the most intriguing part? But there's an even more shocking fact. These geysers could be connected to volcanic activity, suggesting that Enceladus's surface is constantly being renewed. Did you know what star nurseries are? They're not just beautiful clouds in space, but actual factories for creating new stars. For instance, in the Eagle Nebula, located about 2,500 light-years away from Earth, stars are born from hydrogen clouds. Imagine this. In these clouds, the mass of gas is so great that when gravity starts to act, it compresses the clouds, creating high temperatures and pressure. At a certain point, the temperature in the center reaches millions of degrees, and a thermonuclear reaction begins, leading to the birth of a star. But that's not all. In the Eagle Nebula, where stars are forming, there are giant protostars that could one day become bright suns. These protostars are surrounded by disks of gas and dust that can eventually form planets. And now, the most fascinating part. In the Eagle Nebula, stars are born in groups, and in one such area, dozens of new stars can appear simultaneously. Isn't it even more astonishing that these star-forming regions can be so vast that one of them can span 30 light-years in diameter? That's more than the distance from Earth to the nearest star. Inside these nurseries, constant processes ensure incredible conditions for the formation of new stars. But it's not just a mechanical process. In these clouds, complex chemical reactions also occur, creating all the elements necessary for planet formation, like Earth. And now, imagine that during the birth of a star, an enormous amount of energy is released, causing a luminous cloud to form, visible even from Earth. And what's even more amazing? In nebulae like the Eagle Nebula, there can be countless molecules that, in the end, become the basis for life as we know it. These molecules, formed from hydrogen and helium, can combine and create more complex compounds that could one day become the basis for organic life. It's interesting that some of these nebulae exist for millions of years before stars finally form and begin to shine brightly. So, when you look at the stars in the night sky, remember, many of them were once part of such star nurseries, where new stars were born from gas and dust, which means that in each star we see, there's a remarkable story hidden within. Whatever the case, with each new discovery, scientists uncover new mysteries that make us question everything we thought we knew about the cosmos. The cosmos is not just an endless expanse of space, but also a place where the familiar laws of physics operate differently. For instance, did you know that there is no sound in space as we understand it? This is because sound waves require a medium to propagate, and in the vacuum of space, where the density of matter is extremely low, sound waves simply cannot exist. However, this does not mean that space is completely silent. Scientific research has shown that there are electromagnetic oscillations in the cosmic space that serve as a kind of sound for scientists. These oscillations arise from various processes such as solar flares or interactions between celestial bodies. But what do these cosmic sounds actually sound like? NASA uses special instruments that can convert electromagnetic waves into sound signals. Imagine listening to music composed by stars or black holes. For example, in 2015, researchers published a recording of sound waves from a black hole in the Perseus galaxy. These sounds, which are like pulsations, were converted from oscillations in a frequency range that the human ear can perceive. Do you know that in some cases these sounds can be so powerful that they make us question how we perceive sound on Earth? NASA has even developed programs that allow us to visualize and listen to these oscillations, creating audio-visual artworks based on data about space. But that's not all. These same electromagnetic oscillations help scientists study the properties of various objects in the universe. For instance, they can reveal secrets about the composition of stars or even the movement of planets. 80% of the information we receive about the universe is based on such data. This means that even when we don't hear sounds in the usual sense, they can still tell us about many aspects of the cosmos. So the next time you look at the night sky, think about what sounds might be coming from distant stars and how these sounds can change our understanding of the universe. For example, in the Eagle Nebula, astronomers have discovered more than 100 protostars, and each of them has the potential to become something great. On the Moon, traces of astronauts from the Apollo missions are still preserved, and it's astonishing. They could last for millions of years. Since there is no atmosphere on the Moon, the erosion process known on Earth simply doesn't work. Imagine this. The footprints left by astronauts are still visible, as if they were made just yesterday. Isn't it amazing that even details like tool marks are still preserved on the surface? In the low gravity and absence of wind, lunar dust remains undisturbed, meaning even the smallest traces of time are preserved in their original form. Moreover, there are no rains on the Moon that could wash away or soften these traces. Temperature fluctuations between day and night can reach 800 degrees Fahrenheit. But this doesn't affect the preservation of the traces, as the lunar surface is so stable that even small details remain in place. Did you know that some of these traces, left in 1969, could last until the end of our species? This means that future generations could see how humans first walked on another planet. And now, imagine this. There are even remnants of equipment, including Apollo modules, still lying on the surface. These metallic structures, despite their age, retain their shape due to the absence of corrosion. For example, the lunar module of Apollo 11, the size of a compact car, still stands in place as a monument to human achievement. And what's even more astonishing, These objects could become subjects of study for future missions that will not only explore the Moon, but also our history of space exploration. Each object left on the Moon could tell its own story, reflecting the entire course of human thought and technology. 8 Apollo missions left behind dozens of scientific instruments that could provide insights not only into the Moon, but into the entire solar system. Scientists are still analyzing samples collected during these missions, and with each new discovery, we get closer to unraveling even more mysteries hidden beyond our planet. With each new discovery, we are getting closer to understanding how life could have originated in the cosmos, and this raises even more questions about what awaits us in the future. Pulsars are not just stars, but true cosmic clocks, rotating neutron stars that emit radio waves with such precision that their signals can be compared to a high-precision chronometer. Imagine these stars rotating at incredible speeds, reaching up to 700 revolutions per second. In their cores, which compress to the size of a small city, there is a mass that exceeds the mass of the Sun by a factor of 1.5. And now, the most astonishing fact. Pulsars can be so stable that their light pulses allow astronomers to measure time with an accuracy of 1/1,000,000th of a second. This level of precision has not been achieved even by the most modern atomic clocks. These stars emit radio waves in a narrow range, and thanks to this, we can observe them from Earth, registering regular signals that resemble the rhythmic strikes of a bell. When a pulsar is in a binary system, its interaction with its companion creates a gravitational disturbance that can be detected. This discovery was a sensation in astronomy. In 2015, scientists first detected gravitational waves, confirming Albert Einstein's theory. But that's not the most bizarre thing. In some cases, pulsars can even disappear from the observable range, as if they vanish. And this happens because their radio waves can be absorbed by the interstellar medium. What's even more shocking, some pulsars, such as PSRJ 1748-2446 AD, rotate so fast that their equatorial speed exceeds 30,000 kilometers per hour, making them the fastest rotating stars in the cosmos. Scientists have also found pulsars that help study exotic states of matter, such as quark-gluon plasma, which could have existed only in the first moments after the Big Bang. These neutron stars reveal the mysteries of how matter behaves under extreme conditions inaccessible on Earth. It's strange, but with the help of pulsars, one can even determine the distances to other galaxies, allowing astronomers to create more accurate maps of the universe. And what's even more amazing, pulsars could become the basis for future navigation systems in space, enabling spacecraft to determine their position with unprecedented accuracy. Don't believe it? If you thought that was everything, here is the most astonishing part. Exotic molecules that we have never encountered on Earth may exist on the planet itself, and their study could expand our understanding of possible forms of life in extreme conditions. At the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way, lies a supermassive black hole known as Sagittarius A star, with a mass 400,000 times greater than that of our Sun. Imagine this. This black hole is so massive that its gravitational pull can warp space-time around it, creating an effect that even Albert Einstein could not have envisioned in his most daring theories. But that's not all. The radius of its event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing can escape its gravitational grasp, exceeds 24 million kilometers. For comparison, this distance is greater than that from Earth to Saturn. How did astronomers manage to detect such an invisible yet powerful structure? Scientists used radio telescopes to observe stars orbiting around Sagittarius A star. These stars move at incredible speeds, reaching up to 32 million kilometers per hour, allowing the mass of the black hole to be calculated using Newton's laws. But that's not the most astonishing part. These stars are located at a distance of up to 160,000 light-years from us, and their motion indicates the presence of a hidden massive structure at the center. And what's even more shocking, Sagittarius, a star, is not the only black hole in our galaxy. Estimates suggest there could be up to 100 million of them. But how did they form? The main reason is the collapse of massive stars that have exhausted their fuel and cannot resist gravity. These collapses create black holes that can then absorb surrounding matter, increasing their mass. Do you know what happens when such a black hole absorbs a star? The energy released in this process can be equivalent to the luminosity of an entire galaxy for a short period. This leads to the formation of accretion disks that shine brighter than billions of stars combined. And here's where things get really mind-boggling. Scientists suggest that in the center of many galaxies, there may be similar supermassive black holes, opening up new avenues for research into the structure and evolution of the entire universe. But what's even more mysterious is that Sagittarius A star may not be just a black hole, but part of a more complex structure that influences the motion and behavior of stars and galaxies around it. For example, it may control the formation of new stars in its vicinity. And the most astonishing thing? Research shows that interactions between black holes can even affect the rate of expansion of the universe. In the cosmos, there exists a mysterious component that makes up approximately 27% of the universe, but we cannot see it. This is dark matter. Imagine that for every visible star and galaxy, there is an entire invisible army of matter that influences their movement. And now, the most shocking part. Scientists have discovered that the influence of dark matter can only be observed through its gravitational effects on visible objects. For instance, the rotation of galaxies indicates that they move faster than they would if they contained only visible matter. In some cases, the rotation speed of a galaxy is so high that it should have shattered, but it doesn't, and it is the dark matter that holds them together. When astronomers study the gravitational effects on light from distant galaxies, they make incredible discoveries. Dark matter creates a kind of gravitational lens that distorts light and allows us to look into the past. But that's not all. Estimates suggest that dark matter is 6 times more abundant than the ordinary matter we see around us. If you thought that all the stars and planets we see make up the universe, think again. All of this is just the tip of the iceberg. Dark matter forms structures that we observe, such as galaxy clusters, and even influences the course of the universe as a whole. But what does it look like? This question remains open, and scientists are trying to unravel this mystery with complex experiments and theories. For example, in the 20th century, astronomers like Fritz Zwicky were among the first to suspect the existence of dark matter by observing the movement of galaxies in clusters. These observations laid the foundation for further research, and now astrophysicists use the most advanced telescopes and methods to understand what this invisible matter is. Despite its hostile atmosphere, Venus continues to be an object of study and hope for future missions that may reveal even more secrets about our solar neighbor. On Saturn's northern pole, there exists a hexagonal storm that is remarkable for its scale and persistence. Its diameter is a staggering 25,000 kilometers. This is larger than many countries on Earth. What is truly astonishing is that this storm has maintained its shape for decades. How is this possible? The storm's structure resembles a perfect hexagon, which is highly unusual for atmospheric phenomena that we observe on our planet. Research indicates that the storm formed due to the interaction of complex atmospheric flows that create unique conditions for maintaining such a geometric shape. But that's not all. At wind speeds reaching 177 kilometers per hour, the storm produces sounds that can be detected using ground-based instruments. Imagine standing at the edge of this gigantic storm, and all around you there are dull, thunderous sounds, as if the planet itself is speaking to you. This sensation is indescribable. Now, imagine that within this hexagonal storm, there are powerful vortices that rise to a height of 30 kilometers. This is twice the height of the tallest clouds on Earth. Scientists believe that such vortices may be linked to temperature and pressure changes in Saturn's atmosphere, creating extraordinary conditions for their formation. But what is truly shocking is that throughout the entire period of observation, the storm's color has been observed to change from bright yellow to deep blue. This is due to changes in the chemical composition of the atmosphere, resulting from the interaction of sunlight with various gases. If you thought that was all, there's more. In the center of the storm, where pressure reaches colossal levels, scientists suspect the presence of a vast cloud of ammonia, making the atmosphere around the storm extremely toxic. This means that we still have much to discover about the mysteries hidden beyond the event horizon and their exotic effects. In space, planets have been discovered that challenge all our notions about the formation of star systems, hot Jupiters. These giant gas planets, with masses comparable to Jupiter, are located just a few million kilometers from their stars, making them ideal for studying exotic atmospheres and climatic conditions. But the most astonishing thing, some of them orbit their stars in a retrograde motion, a type of orbital movement known as retrograde. How is this possible? Astronomers believe it could be the result of complex interactions with other large bodies in the system, leading to abrupt changes in orbits. For instance, one such planet discovered 12 light-years away, known as WASP-12b, is on such a close orbit that its temperature exceeds 1,200 degrees Celsius, making it one of the hottest exoplanets ever found. But wait, there's more. The atmosphere on this planet is being destroyed so rapidly that scientists estimate it loses millions of tons of mass each year. How can this happen? The answer lies in the star's immense gravitational pull, which literally sucks the planet's atmosphere away, creating a visible trail of gas. Now, imagine that it rains liquid metal on this planet. Yes, you heard right. The temperature and pressure conditions allow metal to exist in a liquid state. This creates astonishing conditions that are hard to imagine. The study of hot Jupiters opens up new horizons in astronomy and raises many questions about how planets form and what factors influence their evolution. And the most interesting part? And this is not all. Astronomers believe that such structures as the Great Wall of Sloan could provide a key to understanding dark matter and energy, which make up a large part of our universe but remain a mystery to us. In the depths of the cosmos, there exist planets that can easily outshine any earthly treasures. Diamond planets, and one of the most famous among them is 55 Cancri e. This exoplanet is twice the size of Earth and has an incredible mass, 8 times greater than Earth's. But the most intriguing aspect is that scientists suggest that the core of this planet may consist of 80% carbon in the form of diamonds. Imagine a planet where diamonds are not just rare, but the very foundation of its structure. But how is this possible? The pressure at a depth of 10,000 kilometers, created by the weight of the upper layers, can transform carbon into diamond crystals. Furthermore, the surface temperature reaches almost 1,300 degrees Celsius, making it resemble hell. But within it, something valuable may be hidden. What's even more shocking? This planet has no water, and its atmosphere is mainly composed of carbon and hydrogen. But this is not the only mystery. It orbits its star in just 8 hours, creating extremely exotic conditions. Scientists suggest that due to such a fast rotation, one side is always facing the star, while the other is perpetually cold. But imagine this. On the cold side, in complete darkness, diamonds could form that are billions of times larger than those we know on Earth. And this means that on this planet, there may not only be diamonds, but also other minerals that we have not yet discovered or even imagined. Research shows that such diamond planets may not only exist in our galaxy, but also beyond its borders. And if you think diamonds are rare, be prepared for a shocking fact. Scientists have found more than 150 planets that may contain diamonds in large quantities. Some of these planets may even have moons, opening up new possibilities for the search for extraterrestrial life. At the moment when the universe began its existence, it could have given birth to incredible objects, cosmic strings. These hypothetical one-dimensional defects in the structure of space-time are more complex than we can imagine. Imagine that cosmic strings could be billions of light-years long and connect different parts of the universe, creating invisible bridges between galaxies. The existence of these strings suggests that they could be the key to understanding phenomena such as dark energy and dark matter. Cosmic strings may interact with ordinary matter, causing anomalies in the gravitational field that we could detect with modern telescopes. But that's not all. Imagine that these strings could vibrate and transmit energy throughout the universe, like giant musical instruments, creating sound waves that could be detected in deep space. Now, imagine that the interaction of cosmic strings could give rise to new forms of matter that are impossible to conceive within our familiar physics. The scientific community is actively discussing the hypothesis that cosmic strings could be part of string theory, which unifies all known forces into a single theory. Research shows that if such strings do exist, they could be incredibly small, with a size of just a few trillionths of a millimeter. One of the most fascinating ideas is that cosmic strings could form cosmic networks that connect galaxies, creating a structure that we are not yet able to fully comprehend. This means that cosmic strings could not only exist, but also influence the evolution of the entire universe. If you thought that was strange, consider this. Scientists suggest that the interaction between cosmic strings could be the cause of phenomena such as gravitational waves, which we have only begun to detect in recent years. In some cases, scientists even associate these oscillations with possible forms of life on other planets. This raises the question, what else can we hear in the silence of the cosmos? On Venus, a day is longer than a year. The planet completes a full rotation around its axis in 243 Earth days, while a full orbit around the Sun takes only 225 days. Imagine how this changes our perception of time. You can spend more time in the bright daylight than in the darkness of night, which lasts only a few hours. But that's not all. Venus rotates in the opposite direction. So on this planet, the Sun rises in the west and sets in the east. This results in extraordinary effects on its surface, where temperatures can reach an incredible 370 degrees Celsius, making it the hottest planet in the solar system. The feeling of being in an oven is complemented by the terrifying pressure of 950 atmospheres at sea level, which is 9 times greater than on Earth. How is this possible? All thanks to the dense atmosphere, consisting of 97% carbon dioxide, which creates a greenhouse effect. But this is not the most shocking. The clouds of Venus contain sulfuric acid, making its atmosphere extremely aggressive and inhospitable to life as we know it. Do you know that despite this, organic molecules have been found in the atmosphere at an altitude of about 50 kilometers? This opens up new horizons for the search for life in the most unexpected places. On the surface, under harsh conditions, there are volcanoes that may still be active today. Recent research has shown that some of them could have erupted just a few tens of millions of years ago. Compare this with our ideas about planets. Could there really be active volcanoes on such an aggressive planet? And here's where it gets really crazy. Venus may hide under its cloud layer many mysteries that are yet to be discovered. For example, there are hypotheses that in ancient times, when conditions were less severe, there could have been oceans on its surface. Just imagine how this planet could have looked if it were more like Earth. But even now, despite the extreme conditions, Venus continues to amaze scientists with its mysteries and discoveries. What about imagining a sunrise on Venus when it rises above the sulfur clouds, illuminating a landscape filled with volcanoes and lava flows? This sight could even shock the most experienced astronauts. And the craziest thing? Scientists continue to explore these questions, and each new discovery opens up new horizons. Which exoplanet will be the next to surprise us? Gamma-ray bursts. These are true explosions of cosmic power that release more energy in 1 second than our Sun does in its entire 10 billion year lifespan. Imagine this. While our Sun provides us with warmth and light, in some distant corners of the universe, events are unfolding that could incinerate entire planets. These bursts typically occur during the collapse of a massive star into a black hole or the merger of neutron stars, and their energy is so immense that even the most powerful telescopes can only detect them from millions of light years away. If one of these gamma-ray bursts were to occur in our galaxy, the consequences could be catastrophic. The radiation from it could burn away Earth's ozone layer, damaging our ecosystem and threatening life. But what is truly intriguing is that gamma-ray bursts can be so brief that their duration often lasts only a few milliseconds. This means that scientists must employ highly sophisticated technologies to capture these fleeting events. Some gamma-ray bursts are so powerful that they can be seen with the naked eye from Earth. For example, the burst observed in 2012 was visible for several hours and became one of the brightest events in astronomy, opening a new era in the study of the cosmos. But that's not all. Scientists believe that gamma-ray bursts may occur much more frequently than we think, but many of them go unnoticed due to their vast distances. According to estimates, around 30 gamma-ray bursts occur each week, but only the most powerful ones reach our detection. This raises the question, how might this affect our understanding of the universe? Some researchers even suggest that gamma-ray bursts could be connected to the mysterious phenomena we call dark matter and dark energy. This opens up exciting prospects for future research. Blazars could be the key to understanding not only the universe itself, but also its structure, opening doors to endless possibilities for future research. The Hubble Space Telescope has been a true revolution in astronomy. In its 30 years of operation, it has conducted over 1,400,000 observations, equivalent to the work that would take decades for ground-based telescopes. Imagine that every day it sent data back to Earth, which accumulated into vast amounts of information, around 150 terabytes. These data are not just numbers. They are images of distant galaxies, meteor showers, and even exoplanets shining in the night sky. But what is truly astonishing is that Hubble could see objects that are more than 11 billion light-years away from us. This means we have the chance to look back in time, observing events that occurred long before our own planet existed. Now, imagine how researchers use these data to study how stars and galaxies form and evolve. Thanks to Hubble, phenomena like dark energy have been discovered, which, according to estimates, make up around 70% of all matter and energy in the universe. What's even more intriguing? Every year, astronomers publish more than 30,000 scientific articles based on data from Hubble. This telescope is not just collecting information. It has become the foundation for an entire generation of astronomers and scientists exploring the mysteries of the cosmos. And just when it seems like everything has been explored, Hubble continues to surprise with new discoveries that challenge everything we knew before. For instance, recent observations have shown that in some galaxies, stars form 5 times faster than previously thought. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. Each new fact raises more questions, and astronomers continue to seek answers, helping us better understand how our world is structured. Perhaps in this chaos lies the key to understanding other planets where life might still exist. Imagine a structure of galaxies stretching across trillions of kilometers. This is the Great Wall of Sloan, which measures 1,370,000,000 light-years in length. For comparison, this is 8 times the distance from Earth to the farthest known galaxy. This incredible wall was discovered in 2001 when astronomers began actively exploring the sky with new telescopes capable of capturing faint and distant stars. But what is even more shocking is that it consists of more than 28,000 galaxies, which are bound together by gravitational interactions and form giant models in space. If you think this is just a collection of stars, you are mistaken. Within this structure, galaxies have been found that are several times larger than our Milky Way and contain millions of times more stars. Now imagine this. Each of these galaxies could contain billions of planets, and among them could be worlds where life could exist. But this is not the most puzzling thing. Gravitational interactions between galaxies not only form this wall, but also influence the movement of neighboring galaxies, creating enormous voids in space that can reach the size of 100 million light-years. These voids, like black holes in the structure of the universe, cause scientists to wonder, how is this possible? Do you know what is even more astonishing? This wall is part of a larger structure known as the Great Atlas Wall, which forms one of the largest known networks in the universe. Scientific research suggests that these enormous structures could be the result of processes that occurred in the first moments after the Big Bang, when matter began to gather in gravitational collapses. Perhaps one day we will unravel the mysteries hidden behind these cosmic phenomena. And now, imagine if we could develop technologies not only to detect, but also to predict such events. On Pluto, an extraordinary formation known as the Heart was discovered. A bright region that is actually a vast plain composed of frozen nitrogen, methane, and carbon dioxide. This heart is over 2,000 kilometers wide, comparable in size to some countries on Earth. But the most intriguing part is that when the New Horizons probe flew by Pluto in 2015, it recorded data showing that the temperature on the surface of this heart can reach minus 80 degrees Celsius. Imagine that! At such low temperatures, ice layers can form complex structures resembling real ice mountains. But that's not all. Scientists noticed that the surface of the heart bears signs of liquid material flow, raising questions about how this area formed. What's even more astonishing, there are suggestions that beneath the surface of Pluto, there may be an ocean of liquid hydrogen, which could potentially support life in extreme conditions. But let's return to the heart. Its shape resembles the symbol of love, leading to numerous myths and legends about Pluto being not just a planet, but a cosmic expression of emotions. Research shows that Pluto's atmosphere is composed of 30% methane, making it extremely unusual and fascinating for study. Moreover, the ice fields of the heart can serve as archives, preserving information about climatic changes on Pluto. Compare this to how Saturn's rings preserve traces of its history. And the most incredible thing, during the study of the heart, it was found that its surface may contain organic molecules, opening new horizons for the search for life beyond Earth. Isn't that amazing? Located about 1,300 light-years from Earth, the Crab Nebula serves as a true laboratory for studying stellar evolution and death. There is something truly extraordinary in the depths of the cosmos: magnetars. These neutron stars possess magnetic fields that are trillions of times stronger than Earth's. Imagine a force that can easily tear apart any matter that gets too close. The magnetic field of a magnetar can reach values of 10 to the power of 12 Gauss, making it the strongest magnetic field in the universe. Did you know that magnetars emit powerful X-ray and gamma-ray bursts that can reach Earth and cause radiation spikes? This phenomenon is known as magnetar flares, and it can be so powerful that its luminosity, at the peak of emission, exceeds all the stars in our galaxy combined. But how do they form? Magnetars arise from the collapse of massive stars at the end of their life cycle, when they become neutron stars, compressing their mass into a sphere with a diameter of only about 20 kilometers. In this process, something unique happens. The remaining mass and rotation of the star lead to the formation of a powerful magnetic field that becomes so strong that a magnetar can affect matter at distances of over 1,000 kilometers. This means that even objects at such distances can be affected by the magnetic field of a magnetar, and if such a star were to get closer to us, the consequences could be catastrophic. Now, imagine that magnetars can not only emit enormous amounts of energy, but also serve as sources of gravitational waves, which were first detected in 2015. Research shows that these stars can sing in frequency ranges that we are just beginning to understand. The most powerful magnetic fields of magnetars can distort space-time around them, creating conditions under which such waves can be studied. And the most amazing thing? Magnetars can exist for only a few thousand years before they begin to gradually lose their magnetic power. The future of this storm remains uncertain, and the world holds its breath, waiting to unveil the mysteries of this gigantic atmospheric anomaly. In space, molecules of alcohol have been discovered, and this is not just an interesting fact, it's a real sensation. Imagine this. In the clouds of gas where stars are born, with temperatures reaching -260 degrees Celsius, scientists have found ethanol, a molecule known as the main component of alcoholic beverages. Studies conducted using the ALMA telescope in Chile have shown that in molecular clouds like G34.3, ethanol is present in significant quantities. But that's not all. Other alcohols, such as methanol, have also been found in these clouds. Do you know what this means? In the cosmic conditions where ice and gas mix, not only stars but also molecules that could be precursors to life are formed. How did they get there? The secret lies in the complex chemical reactions occurring under the influence of ultraviolet radiation and cosmic rays. This discovery challenges traditional views on how organic molecules that could be necessary for the emergence of life appear. And what if, in the future, we find even more complex molecules or even amino acids in these clouds? This would open up entirely new horizons for the search for extraterrestrial life. Moreover, in these clouds, where stars are forming, planets could also be born that might one day be able to support life. Scientists around the world are actively discussing how likely it is that life could have arisen on planets formed from these molecules. Can you imagine that on one of these planets, beings could use alcohol as a source of energy? It's hard to believe, But the molecules we are discovering in space could provide the keys to solving the mystery of life on Earth and beyond. And this is just the beginning. Work is already underway to study in detail the conditions under which these molecules form and how this could affect our understanding of astrochemistry. Soon we may learn that there are other organic compounds in the cosmos that we cannot even imagine. And here's something even more shocking. Studies show that if there were no dark matter, stars and galaxies would not exist in the form we know them. Dark energy, that mysterious component that makes up approximately 68% of the universe and, surprisingly, continues to accelerate its expansion. Do you know what this means? Our universe is not just expanding, it's doing so at an increasing speed, as if someone had stepped on the gas. Research shows that dark energy acts like an anti-gravity force, counteracting gravity and increasing the distance between galaxies. For instance, if in the 20th century scientists believed that the universe's expansion was slowing down, in the 21st century, astronomers observing supernovae realized that this was not the case. Remarkably, the expansion rate was so high that it challenged our understanding of how the universe is structured. But that's not all. Dark energy doesn't just exist. It manifests itself through an effect known as the cosmological constant, proposed by Albert Einstein in 1915. If it weren't for this effect, the stars we see today could behave differently. What's truly astonishing is that despite dark energy making up such a vast part of our universe, we still know nothing about its nature. How does it interact with matter? What are its properties? Scientific models suggest it could be something entirely new, like quantum fluctuations in the void that somehow create a repulsive force. If you thought that was incredible, imagine this. Dark energy might be connected to the concept of a multiverse, where each universe has its own unique laws of physics. These are not just theories. Science is already taking the first steps towards testing them. Observations of supernovae and cosmic microwave background radiation suggest that dark energy might change over time, which could alter our understanding of space and time itself. In the early 2000s, scientists began actively studying how dark energy affects the structure of the universe, and the results of these studies could fundamentally change our understanding of the cosmos. For example, the Dark Energy Survey Project has detected over 30 million galaxies, allowing astronomers to build more accurate models. This cloud could reveal how water, which is vital for life, was transported between stars and planets, creating conditions for life to emerge in the most unexpected corners of the cosmos. On the planet HD 189733b, located 40 light-years away from Earth, conditions offer no hope for the existence of familiar life. Imagine a world where rain is not just water, but actual glass shards falling from the sky at temperatures around 1,000 degrees Celsius. Yes, you heard it right. Temperatures here reach such levels that any living organism would simply burn up in a fraction of a second. And how about winds reaching speeds of 8,700 kilometers per hour? This is faster than the speed of sound, and such hurricanes can tear apart not only atmospheric phenomena, but any objects on the surface. On this planet, water vapor evaporations mix with the force of temperature, creating clouds that then fall to the surface as sharp glass droplets. What's even more shocking? These droplets are formed from silicon, giving them the hardness of glass. When these shards fall on hot surfaces, they splinter into thousands of tiny fragments, which can further damage any structures. But that's not all. The atmosphere of HD 189733b is mostly composed of carbon dioxide and methane, creating a greenhouse effect that intensifies the already high temperature. Studies conducted with the Hubble Space Telescope have shown that this exoplanet has a bright blue color, which is a result of light reflection from clouds containing metallic particles. And now, the craziest part. Scientists have discovered that this planet experiences hurricanes around its equator, making its atmosphere one of the most turbulent in the known universe. Think about it. Hurricanes that can lift glass shards to heights of more than 30 kilometers. This is a remarkable phenomenon, reminiscent of scenes from science fiction films. But it is real. Research continues, and scientists are trying to understand how such extreme conditions can affect the climate and atmosphere of exoplanets around other stars. And the most intriguing part? Currently, it is known that in some hydrogen and helium clouds where stars are formed, the concentration of organic molecules is 10 times higher than on Earth. At the center of our galaxy lies a colossal cosmic cloud known as Sagittarius B2, which contains astronomical volumes of ethanol, over 1 billion liters. Imagine this. In this cloud, which is comparable in size to several solar systems, the concentration of alcohol reaches such levels that it becomes the largest known source of this substance in the universe. But how is this possible? The secret lies in the fact that in this cloud, active chemical reactions are taking place, resulting in the formation of complex organic molecules. Giant molecules are formed under the influence of radiation and temperatures reaching minus 260 degrees Celsius. What do you think would happen if spacecraft approached this cloud? In theory, this cloud could become a source of raw materials for future space colonies. But that's not all. Scientific research shows that Sagittarius B2 also contains formaldehyde, which could serve as a basis for creating more complex organic compounds. You would never have thought that such conditions exist in our cosmos that could lead to the formation of molecules similar to those that make up living organisms. It is interesting that in this cloud, ethanol was found in the gaseous state, making it accessible for further research. Do you think our scientists will ever encounter such a substance on other planets or in other galaxies? But that's not the most astonishing thing. In Sagittarius B2, there are also vast reservoirs of methanol and other alcohols, opening doors to new research in astrochemistry. These cosmic reserves could play a key role in understanding the origin of life on Earth. It is incredible. But in this cloud, astronomers have detected the presence of more than 90 different molecules, including amino acids, which are the building blocks of life. One such amino acid, glycine, was found in the atmosphere of the cloud, raising questions about how life could have arisen not only on our planet, but also somewhere else. Sagittarius B2 is not just a cloud. It is a whole laboratory where numerous unique chemical processes occur, which remain a mystery to scientists. It is interesting that this cloud is located at a distance of about 26,000 light-years from Earth, and its study opens new horizons in astrophysics. And here's what's even more intriguing. Perhaps dark energy is not just an invisible substance, but something we might be able to see once technology reaches new heights. On Mars, the highest mountain in the solar system is the volcano Olympus, which reaches a height of 21 kilometers and 900 meters. This is more than 2.5 times higher than Mount Everest, the highest peak on Earth, and its dimensions are astonishing. The diameter of its base is approximately 600 kilometers, comparable to the size of an entire country. Olympus is characterized by the wide slopes typical of shield volcanoes, and its structure was formed over millions of years due to numerous eruptions. But that's not all. It is believed that there is a flat plain on its summit, possibly once covered in lava. The walls of this volcano can reach heights of up to 7 kilometers. And imagine standing at the edge of this abyss and looking down at the vast plains of Mars. But wait, there's more. Olympus also bears traces of ancient lava flows, indicating its past activity, and some scientists suggest that the volcano could have erupted even in the last few million years. If you thought that was amazing, here's another fact. The atmosphere of Mars is so thin that winds can reach speeds of up to 100 meters per second, creating unforgettable landscapes that are breathtaking in their beauty. And here's another shocking fact. The temperature on the summit of Olympus can drop to minus 150 degrees Celsius, meaning that there is a true Arctic cold reigning there. How is this possible? The atmosphere of Mars cannot retain heat, and this creates conditions where even the highest mountains become icy. Scientific missions like Mars 2020 continue to explore this mysterious world. And perhaps soon we will learn more about its volcanic activity and geological features. If you think that's all, you're wrong. Scientists estimate that there may be up to 200 magnetars in our galaxy, and each of them holds mysteries that could change our understanding of the laws of physics. On Saturn's moon, Enceladus, geysers of water erupt from cracks in the icy crust, reaching heights of up to 500 kilometers. Imagine water jets dispersing into space, forming clouds visible even from Earth. These geysers not only spew water, but also complex organic molecules, raising questions about the possibility of life on this tiny moon with a diameter of just 550 kilometers. But that's not the most astonishing fact. Beneath the icy crust, there could be an ocean with a depth of 30 kilometers. What causes such a massive body of water to rise to the surface? Studies show that heat generated by gravitational interactions with Saturn creates conditions favorable for the formation of liquid water. Moreover, these geysers were first detected by the Cassini spacecraft in 2004 when it flew by Enceladus, and since then, scientists have been continuously studying this mysterious process. Did you know that the composition of the geyser plumes is almost identical to the composition of Earth's ocean waters? This discovery adds to the intrigue, as it suggests that conditions on Enceladus could be similar to those on our planet. But there's more. Analysis of the data indicates the presence of chemical elements such as carbon and hydrogen sulfide, which could be essential for the life of microorganisms. This makes Enceladus one of the most promising places in the search for extraterrestrial life in our solar system. If you think that's amazing, wait until you hear this. In the future, a mission is planned to thoroughly investigate these geysers and even collect samples to study their composition in laboratory conditions. Now, imagine that beneath this icy crust, entire ecosystems could be waiting to be discovered. Currently, scientists have data indicating that temperatures beneath the icy crust can reach 100 degrees Celsius, creating ideal conditions for life. Questions about the nature of space and its impact on human sensations remain open. And this is just the beginning of an extraordinary journey toward understanding the interaction between humans and the universe. Thousands of light years away from Earth, there exist exoplanets known as hot Jupiters, where conditions seem to be plucked straight out of science fiction. Imagine, on these giant worlds, temperatures exceed thousands of degrees Celsius, and instead of rain, there are downpours of molten glass and iron. Remarkably, wind speeds on these planets can reach 5,000 to 7,000 kilometers per hour, about as fast as traveling from Moscow to Vladivostok in an hour. How is this possible? These exoplanets are in very close orbits around their stars, leading to incredibly high temperatures and intense atmospheric phenomena. Their atmospheres are rich in heavy elements, and clouds consist of tiny droplets of glass formed at extreme temperatures. Picture this. Winds so powerful they can blow these droplets into tornado-like formations, turning them into sharp shards. But that's not all. These planets also have extraordinary atmospheric currents. Some can rise to heights of over 10 kilometers, creating powerful storms that can last for weeks. The most astonishing part? These planets aren't just a few. There are many, and astronomers are just beginning to understand the diversity of their atmospheric conditions. For instance, the exoplanet WASP-121b, located about 800 light-years away, has such a dense atmosphere that scientists suspect it contains clouds of molten glass. This means that at temperatures above 1,300 degrees Celsius, the rain in this hellish place is a true glassy deluge. But what are the chances of life existing under such conditions? This remains a question for further research, and scientists are already building new telescopes to peer into the atmospheres of these distant worlds. And here's an interesting fact. In 2039, a new mission to the Moon is planned, which could return us to these historic sites and open new horizons for research. In the cosmos, there are objects that cause scientists worldwide to pause in awe. These are blazars. They belong to a special category of quasars that possess the most powerful matter jets. Jets directed straight at our planet. Imagine this, a jet racing at speeds up to 90% the speed of light. It's like seeing an arrow shot from a bow, but on a cosmic scale. Blazars emit an enormous amount of energy, and their light can be millions of times brighter than the light of an entire galaxy. Scientists have identified them due to their characteristic changes in brightness. Sometimes they suddenly become brighter, then dim again. This happens because the jets rotate and focus, like a spotlight illuminating different parts of space. What's even more astonishing? Blazars are located at distances measured in billions of light years, but their influence on Earth can be detected. For example, if one such object were just 3 billion light years away, its radiation could have reached us when dinosaurs roamed the Earth. 80% of all known blazars have redshift, indicating they are moving away from us at great speed. This supports the theory of an expanding universe, which suggests that the cosmos is continually growing. But that's not all. Blazars can emit charged particles that, when they enter Earth's atmosphere, can cause unusual phenomena. Some researchers link their activity to increased cosmic radiation, which could affect our planet's climate. Can you imagine these objects not only causing meteorological changes, but also influencing life's development? The answer lies in their incredible energy and potential for creating extreme conditions. Blazars typically form in the centers of active galaxies, where black holes consume matter, creating powerful jets. These jets can extend millions of light years, and when they are directed towards Earth, we can observe their bright radiation. In the 20th century, more than 200 blazars were discovered, and this number continues to grow each year thanks to improved telescopes and observation technologies. And the most amazing thing? For example, recent research suggests that the Kuiper Belt may contain objects with active geology, altering our understanding of what these icy worlds look like. The question is, what else might we find in this frozen realm? In the cosmos, there are mysterious objects that challenge our understanding of the boundaries between stars and planets. Brown dwarfs. These objects have masses ranging from 30 to 80% of the mass of the Sun, and although they cannot sustain thermonuclear reactions, their temperature can reach over 1,000 degrees Celsius. Isn't that strange? They emit light, but it's not like the light from stars. It's reddish and invisible to the human eye. Brown dwarfs form as a result of the collapse of gas and dust clouds, but unlike their more massive cousins, they do not reach the critical mass to ignite nuclear reactions. But that's not the strangest part. Some scientists suggest that brown dwarfs could be home to exoplanets orbiting around them, much like in our solar system. Imagine it, worlds with the potential for life, but near these mysterious objects that cannot shine like stars. And that's where it gets really bizarre. Brown dwarfs can have atmospheres composed of hydrogen, helium, and even methane, allowing for various chemical processes. Moreover, some of them may have liquid spheres similar to oceans, but instead of water, they contain unique liquids with entirely different chemistry. Isn't that even more shocking? These objects can be billions of times larger than our planet, but cannot illuminate the space around them. It's surprising that such objects can help us understand how stars and planets form and evolve. Research shows that brown dwarfs may make up to 10% of all objects in galaxies. Their study opens new horizons in astronomy and could help answer questions about the emergence of life on other planets. Did you know that the most famous brown dwarf is an object called Luhar, located just 36 light-years away from Earth? What else might the cosmos be hiding? In the constellation of Taurus lies the Crab Nebula, and it is not just a beautiful cloud of gas. It is the remnant of a supernova explosion, which was observed by Chinese astronomers in 1574. Imagine this. The sky was painted with bright light for several days, visible even during the day. This phenomenon was one of the first documented observations of a supernova in human history, and its brightness was 20 times greater than that of Venus, making it a remarkable event. The Crab Nebula, or M1, formed as a result of a colossal explosion that ejected a vast amount of material, including heavy elements such as carbon and oxygen, into space. This nebula has a diameter of approximately 650 light-years, clearly demonstrating the scale of cosmic events. But do you know that within this cloud, there is more than just beautiful colors? At the center of the nebula lies a neutron star that rotates at a speed of more than 30 times per second, creating powerful magnetic fields and emitting radio waves. Scientists believe that it is these powerful pulses that have made the Crab Nebula a subject of study for astronomers worldwide. But that's not all. Observations show that the nebula continues to expand, and its size increases at a rate of about 1 million kilometers per hour. Remarkably, this means that in a few thousand years, the Crab Nebula will become even brighter if we can observe it from such a distance. And if you think that's amazing, consider what happens to its gases. They move irregularly, creating interesting structures that resemble vortices. Furthermore, The Crab Nebula is home to numerous molecular clouds where new stars can form. Research shows that stars are already observed to be forming from the remains of the explosion. The Crab Nebula presents us not only with a spectacle, but also with mysteries that await resolution. Scientists are still trying to understand exactly how the explosion occurred and what physical processes were involved in this colossal event. And the most interesting thing? Scientists are only beginning to understand how these incredible worlds might look and what secrets they might hold. Every day, about 100 tons of cosmic material in the form of meteor dust falls to Earth, and this happens continuously. Imagine standing on the street, and every second, the tiniest particles, once part of other worlds, fall on you. These fragments, mostly composed of carbon, iron, and nickel, come to us from the asteroid belt and even from comets that travel vast distances in our solar system. What is truly astonishing is that most of them are so small that we don't even notice their fall. Scientific research shows that each year, around 30,000 tons of these particles land on Earth, which is equivalent to the weight of about 110 elephants. But that's not the most incredible part. These meteorites can contain organic molecules that might be the precursors of life. How did they get to Earth? The answer is simple. Billions of years ago, when our planet was just forming, meteorites actively collided with it, and they could have brought the necessary elements for the emergence of life. Many are interested in how these meteorites might influence our future. Imagine that one day we could extract resources from them to create new technologies. Research shows that water molecules have also been found in meteorites, which could be crucial for the colonization of other planets. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. Some of the largest meteorites, like the Hoba in Namibia, weigh more than 30 tons and are true witnesses to cosmic history. These giants can tell us about events that occurred in the solar system millions of years ago. But what's even more shocking? Scientists have discovered that some meteorites can carry spores of microorganisms that have survived in space. This discovery challenges our understanding of how life can exist in extreme conditions. And imagine this. Every night, when you look at the stars, somewhere in the cosmos, meteorites are heading towards you, carrying the secrets of other worlds and perhaps even traces of life. Olympus is not just a height. It is a book full of the history of how the surface of the planet was formed, and who knows what other secrets it may reveal in the future. Imagine a world where one day lasts only a fraction of a second. On a neutron star, where gravity is so strong that 1 cubic centimeter of matter can weigh more than 1,000,000 tons, a day passes in a matter of milliseconds. These stars, formed from the explosions of supernovas, rotate at incredible speeds, up to several hundred revolutions per second. This means that their surfaces can move at such velocities that phenomena occur on them that we can barely imagine in our everyday world. How is this possible? When a massive star exhausts its fuel and collapses, it shrinks to the size of a city, and all its mass is concentrated into a tiny volume. It is this compression that causes the star to rotate faster than ever before. Remarkably, this rotation creates a powerful magnetic field that can be millions of times stronger than Earth's magnetic field. But that's not all. On such stars, other phenomena can arise. For example, neutron stars can emit pulsating radio waves, and this radiation can be detected even at great distances. And what's even more astonishing, these stars are considered one of the densest objects in the universe. If you were to compress the mass of our Sun into a volume of just 30 kilometers in diameter, you would get a typical neutron star. And here's where things get really mind-boggling. Due to the powerful gravity, time on the surface of a neutron star flows slower than on Earth. If you were on such a star, a minute for you could be equal to hours on Earth. This means that life on a neutron star, if it were possible, would be completely different. But what do these mysterious objects look like? They appear as glowing spheres, sometimes surrounded by bright clouds of gas that glow due to temperatures reaching millions of degrees. And of course, their luminosity can be so great that their radiation can be detected at distances of millions of light years. But that's not all. An amazing fact is that neutron stars can form binary systems, where one star orbits another, creating unique conditions for studying gravity. And the most mind-boggling thing? And what is truly intriguing? the bottom of the methane lakes may contain layers of organic substances that have not yet been studied. When an object approaches a black hole, something truly remarkable occurs, known as cosmic spaghetti. Imagine this. The gravity of the black hole becomes so strong that it begins to stretch the object, much like Play-Doh. But this is not just stretching. The gravitational pull is significantly stronger at one end of the object than at the other, creating an effect similar to how spaghetti is stretched when cooked. For instance, if a spaceship were thrown into a black hole, its length could increase to 30 kilometers before it becomes a thin thread, like a noodle. This transformation occurs due to something called the gradient of gravity, where the difference in gravitational force between the top and bottom of the object causes its destruction. But this is not all. As the object falls, the temperature on its surface can reach 1,000,000 degrees Celsius. This happens due to the immense pressure and friction generated when the object interacts with the accretion disk, a cloud of gas and dust that forms around the black hole. But the most astonishing part is that, in the moment the object crosses the event horizon, it can no longer return. It becomes part of the black hole forever. Observations have shown that for an observer at a safe distance, the object will appear to slow down and never reach the event horizon, as the light from it will be shifted towards the red end of the spectrum and gradually fade away. This creates the effect of time dilation, which is hard to believe. For an external observer, the object seems to be stuck in time. And here is where it gets even more intriguing. Imagine that at this moment, all information about the object, its state, and history becomes inaccessible. However, scientists are still studying whether it is possible to extract this information from the black hole. Modern theories, such as the hypothesis of the holographic universe, suggest that all information could be preserved on the surface of the black hole, like on a hard drive. And this opens up new horizons in our understanding of the laws of physics. And the most incredible part? They may even explain why the universe is expanding at such a rapid rate. On Jupiter, polar auroras reach such intensity that they can outshine even the brightest phenomena on Earth. Imagine this. These phenomena are hundreds of times more powerful than what we are accustomed to seeing on our planet. Scientists have measured the intensity of Jupiter's auroras and arrived at a staggering conclusion. They can reach more than 100 trillion watts. For comparison, this is 10 times more than all the power plants on Earth combined. The source of this power lies in the giant magnetic fields, which are 1,000 times stronger than Earth's and can capture an enormous number of charged particles from the solar wind. But that's not all. On Jupiter, polar auroras can occur not only in the polar regions, as on Earth, but also in the equatorial zone, creating incredible visual effects that are impossible to compare with anything on our planet. And here's something even more fascinating. On Jupiter's moon Io, polar auroras can be caused by volcanic activity, as this moon is the most volcanically active body in the solar system. Volcanic gases released into space interact with the planet's magnetic field, creating unique and spectacular effects. But this is not the end. On Saturn, polar auroras also have their own characteristics, differing in color and shape from Jupiter's. There, auroras can take on amazing violet hues, which are caused by the interaction of particles with the planet's atmosphere. These auroras can be so powerful that they can be observed from Earth using the most powerful telescopes. Now, imagine seeing such a spectacle with your own eyes. However, we still do not have the ability to send people to Jupiter or Saturn to experience this spectacle firsthand. Nevertheless, scientists continue to study these phenomena using spacecraft like Juno, which actively transmits data on Jupiter's magnetic fields and auroras. Each new hot Jupiter discovered raises more questions than answers, and we are on the brink of making groundbreaking discoveries. The planet WASP-12b has captured the attention of astronomers due to its unique nature. It is so close to its star that it is essentially evaporating, and its shape resembles an egg due to the intense gravitational forces. One side of this exoplanet is constantly facing the star, creating extraordinary temperature contrasts. The temperature on the day side can reach over 2,000 degrees Celsius. This is comparable to the heat experienced only in the center of a volcano. However, this is not all. The close proximity to the star heats the atmosphere of WASP-12b to such an extent that part of its gases escape into space, creating an effect of a stream of atmosphere that can be observed with powerful telescopes. 80% of the gas on the planet may be lost due to this phenomenon. The gravitational forces of the star are so strong that the planet's shape becomes oval, adding further challenges to its study. Astronomers believe that in the future, as technology advances, we will be able to observe how the atmosphere of this planet interacts with its stellar parent. It is interesting to note that WASP-12b was discovered in 2009, but has already become the subject of numerous studies. How many such hearts do you think there might be in our solar system? The spacecraft Voyager 1 became a sensation in human history. It was the first man-made object to leave the boundaries of the solar system. Imagine this. The spacecraft travels at a speed of over 50 kilometers per second, which is equivalent to more than 188,000 kilometers per hour. Its journey began in 1977 when it was launched to study the outer planets and their moons. But that's not all. Voyager 1 carries a golden record on board, containing sounds and images representing Earth's culture. How many sounds were chosen for this musical message to the cosmos? Hundreds. On the record, you can hear not only music by Bach and Beethoven, but also natural sounds like birdsong or the sound of the ocean. But what's most astonishing about this spacecraft is its journey through interstellar space. Currently, Voyager 1 is more than 23 billion kilometers away from Earth, and this distance is still increasing. Did you know that, despite this distance, it continues to transmit data to Earth? NASA scientists receive signals from Voyager 1 with a delay of more than 20 hours, and each signal contains valuable information that helps us understand not only the solar system, but the nature of the cosmos itself. But wait, there's more. Voyager 1 opened new horizons by discovering magnetic fields and cosmic radiation that had never been studied so thoroughly before. And here's something even more shocking. The spacecraft continues to function, despite its systems having long exceeded their designed lifespan. At a speed of 87,000 kilometers per hour, Voyager 1 continues to transmit data, and according to projections, it will do so for several more years. It's important to note that Voyager 1 will be the first artificial object to cross the Alpha Centauri star system, and this will happen in about 27,000 years. With its help, unique images of the auroras have been obtained, showing how they change depending on solar activity. But the question remains, what else does the cosmos hide? What mysteries await discovery on other planets? In our galaxy, there could be up to 40 billion planets that resemble Earth in their conditions. Remarkably, this number is based on the analysis of data collected by various missions, including the Kepler Space Telescope, which during its operation discovered over 2,000 exoplanets and revealed that around 7 billion new planets are formed in our galaxy each year. Now, imagine this. Among these planets, at least 1 in 5 is located in what is known as the habitable zone of its star. This is the region where temperatures allow for the existence of liquid water, the key element of life as we know it. But what is this habitable zone? It is not a fixed entity. It depends on the size and luminosity of the star. For example, for red dwarfs, which make up around 70% of all stars in our galaxy, this zone is much closer than for sun-like stars. What is truly astonishing is that if we could explore even one of these planets, we might discover entirely new forms of life adapted to conditions we can barely imagine. What about planets surrounded by dense clouds where the atmospheric pressure is several times higher than on Earth? Or where life could exist under icy shells, like on Jupiter's moons? This would be a real shock. But wait, there's more. Research shows that on some of these exoplanets, there might not only be water and atmosphere, but also conditions conducive to the formation of life as we understand it. For instance, recent data on the planet Proxima Centauri b, located just 4 light-years away, suggest the presence of an atmosphere, making it one of the closest candidates for the search for extraterrestrial life. This planet is in the habitable zone of its star, and the surface temperature could be suitable for the existence of water. But imagine this. What if life on it is completely different from ours? What if the forms of life there take on entirely different sizes and shapes? For example, on a planet with high gravity, life might have evolved in entirely different directions, creating beings with fragile skeletons or even no skeletons at all. How would this affect their behavior and interaction with their environment? And what if something completely unexpected is already happening on one of these planets? There are places where physical laws, as we understand them, begin to lose their strength, opening doors to new research and discoveries in astrophysics. In our galaxy, the Milky Way, there are from 100 to 400 billion stars. Imagine that this number exceeds all that can be seen with the naked eye. Even on the clearest nights, we can only see a few thousand stars. Each of these stars is unique, ranging from small red dwarf stars to massive blue giants that can be 30 times the mass of our Sun. But how does this compare to the rest of the universe? It turns out that we are located in one of approximately 2 trillion galaxies, each containing billions and sometimes even trillions of its own stars. This number is so vast that it's hard to imagine. If you started counting all the stars from the moment of your birth, you wouldn't finish, even if you counted one every second of your life. But that's not the most shocking part. Many of these galaxies are at incredible distances from us, and the light we see may have been traveling for billions of years. This means that we are not just observing stars, but entire epochs of their existence. For example, the most distant galaxies, such as GNZ11, are more than 1 billion light-years away, and their light began its journey when the universe was only 300 million years old. Now, imagine that among these stars, there could be life, even if it is vastly different from ours. Scientific research shows that the conditions for the formation of planets similar to Earth may be much more widespread than we thought. In galaxies similar to ours, there could be trillions of planets, and many of them could be in what is known as the habitable zone, where water can exist in liquid form. But let's move on to something even more fascinating. Imagine that in these infinite expanses, there exists a civilization that has been developing for millions of years, with an experience completely different from ours. Research shows that there may be planets entirely covered by oceans, such as Europa, a moon of Jupiter, where liquid water may be hidden beneath an icy crust. This could mean that we are not alone in the universe, and this opens up incredible possibilities for future discoveries. What if there is a way to communicate with them? The questions we can ask become increasingly intriguing. How does the development of life on other planets affect our understanding of life itself? And the most astonishing thing? Hubble has become not just a telescope, but a true window into the vast cosmos, opening up endless horizons for future research. There are regions in our solar system that remain a mystery even to the most experienced astronomers, and the Kuiper Belt is one of them. This space lies beyond the orbit of Neptune, home to thousands of icy objects, including the most famous one, Pluto, which was once considered the 9th planet. Imagine this. In this belt, objects range in size from tens to hundreds of kilometers in diameter. Some are so far from the Sun that their surfaces are covered in a thick layer of frozen methane and ammonia, making them snow-white and unlike the planets we are accustomed to. But remember, Pluto is just one of over 3,000 known objects in this belt. And here's the fascinating part. Some of them have their own moons, and the largest can be as big as our moon. For instance, Charon, Pluto's moon, has a diameter of about 1 kilometer and orbits its parent planet like a cosmic dance. But that's not all. Some scientists suspect that the Kuiper Belt may harbor undiscovered objects even larger than Pluto. How could such massive bodies remain undetected for so long? The secret lies in their distance and the light they reflect. Due to this, they are difficult to spot from Earth, and only the most advanced telescopes can distinguish them from the starry background. Moreover, the Kuiper Belt is 10 times wider than Neptune's orbit and extends up to 150 astronomical units from the Sun. But that's not the strangest thing. Did you know that some objects in the Kuiper Belt could be remnants of the primordial material from which planets formed? This means they might hold secrets about how our solar system evolved and, if studied, could help us understand the conditions that led to life on Earth. Currently, astronomers continue to explore this mysterious belt, and each new discovery opens doors to even more astonishing revelations about our cosmos. How many of these particles might hold secrets that will change our understanding of the origin of life? In the cosmos, there exist what are known as hot Neptunes, and their nature evokes genuine awe. These planets, similar in size and composition to Neptune, are located in close proximity to their stars, resulting in surface temperatures that can reach thousands of degrees Celsius. Imagine a world where the air temperature can melt lead, and clouds consist of water and ammonia vapors that never cool. The heat from the star is so intense that the atmosphere of these planets can be drawn into space, creating extraordinary phenomena. Did you know that in some cases, the temperature on such planets can reach levels where even heavy metals exist in a gaseous state? For instance, the hot Neptune, known as GJ3470b, can have temperatures up to 900 degrees Celsius. Now imagine an atmosphere on this planet that resembles a dense gas curtain, where constant hurricanes and strong winds sweep everything in their path. But that's not the most astonishing part. Scientists have discovered that some of these planets may have unusual clouds composed of crystals that form under high temperature and pressure, such as the silicate clouds on the planet WASP-121b. But how do they form, and what happens to their atmosphere under the influence of powerful radiation? This remains a mystery. Some astronomers believe that such planets may be in the process of transformation, losing their atmosphere and becoming larger versions of hot Jupiters. Did you know that hot Neptunes can have water oceans that never freeze due to this hellish heat? Their oceans can be saturated with vapors that create unique climatic conditions. And here's where it gets really mind-boggling. Their atmosphere not only heats up, but also becomes a home to exotic molecules that do not exist on Earth. If you thought that was incredible, consider this. Some of these planets may have magnetic fields much stronger than Earth's, which create breathtaking polar auroras and other phenomena that we can barely imagine. But what is truly shocking? Quasars can represent not only gravitational anomalies, but also a key to understanding dark matter and energy, which make up a significant part of our universe. On Titan, Saturn's moon, there are methane lakes that, with their characteristics, make one think of ancient Earth. Imagine vast bodies of water filled with liquid methane, which under normal conditions cannot exist on our planet. These lakes cover an area of more than 1 million square kilometers, making them the largest in the solar system. But that's not all. Titan's atmosphere consists of 96% nitrogen and 3% methane, creating conditions similar to those on Earth billions of years ago when life was just beginning to develop. What's even more astonishing? The pressure on Titan's surface is 1.5 times higher than on Earth, meaning methane remains in liquid form even at low temperatures, reaching minus 150 degrees Celsius. These conditions could create an ideal environment for the emergence of primitive life. Research shows that methane lakes may contain complex organic compounds that serve as the building blocks of life. But there's more. Methane clouds have been found in Titan's atmosphere, which can fall as rain, forming rivers and seas on its surface. Imagine how life could develop in these methane flows, adapted to such exotic conditions. And what if, in fact, there are microbial organisms deep within Titan that use methane as an energy source? This discovery could completely change our understanding of the forms of life that could exist beyond Earth. Scientists from NASA and other space agencies are planning missions to this mysterious moon to uncover its secrets. One such mission, Titan Enceladus, is scheduled for the near future and may provide answers to questions we haven't even begun to ask. Meanwhile, scientists continue to study data collected by the Cassini probe, which has been researching the Saturn system for more than 10 years and has gathered many fascinating facts about Titan.